Multiple billionaires are going on traditional media outlets and saying that Bitcoin is about to explode, accelerating the supply shock. But the unique thing about this is it's not just the usual suspects. There are more people buying, and some that we might not even know about, just now scooping up some of this Bitcoin and taking it off of exchange at a rapid pace. And that would make Bitcoin's price skyrocket in flight and happen very, very quickly. Of course, we've got less than 1/4 left in the rest of this year. So let's hear where Tom Lee thinks that Bitcoin is going in these last 4 months.
Liquidity. And so the Fed, as you know, is on hold. But if their next move is to hike, then the entire stock market really is going to have to fight through that. It won't necessarily decline, but it has to fight that. And that Fed argument there would be, well, the economy is so healthy, I should be raising rates. But the reality is, at this point in the cycle, the Fed should be easing. It's a question of when. And if they begin easing in the fall, then I think that's going to coincide with Bitcoin making a step function higher. And I still think 200 to 250,000 is possible.
So he's saying right there that the interest rate cuts that we are going to see are going to coincide with the potential for a Bitcoin run up. But it's interesting because we all know that Bitcoin performs very well in Q4, usually by the end of this year. I mean, we even saw it towards the end of last year. But something very peculiar about this is, of course, we know about the corporations and everybody else scooping up Bitcoin. But what we haven't seen in quite some time is the amount of whales starting to add to positions. And I think that this is something that is very, very unique here, where we're seeing, look at this. Wallets holding 10 to 10K Bitcoin have accumulated 218,000 Bitcoin in the past 18 weeks. That means these Bitcoin whales are seeing this as a huge buying opportunity because something is afoot. Now, that means that all of these different, metrics that we're looking at and the potential of this supply shock, it's all going to be lining out for something very, very big towards the end of this year. I mean, just take a look at the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges because whales keep buying, the ETF demand keeps coming up, and the supply is getting taken off exchanges. Now, it's not just Tom Lee saying all this stuff. We even got the young boy wonder, Jack Mahler, saying some great things as well. Now let's tune into what Jack had to say here.
Higher.
How much higher?
A lot higher. My general framework from the highest level is human beings collectively, we own about $900 trillion worth of stuff. That's equities, the things behind us, real estate, precious metals, fine art, all of the things that we own. Half of that we're using as a savings account. We're owning the portfolio of companies or the art or the house to actually try and persist wealth into the future. I think Bitcoin's going after that market. It's going after a market of $400 to $500 trillion worth, and right now it's $2.5 trillion. So I think in purchasing power terms, Bitcoin can go up 100 to 200 times more from here.
All right. So we know Bitcoin obviously is the most house.
Did you hear that? Bitcoin could go up 100 to 200 times from here, which means that Bitcoin sitting at 110, 115, 120,000, up 100 to 200 times. You guys tell me where that takes us, folks. I mean, I don't want to do any quick math and get you too excited here, but Jack Mahler's is just lining out what we're all seeing. There's the demand that we're seeing, which is absolutely skyrocketing in flight. But then there's also something that Michael Saylor lined out here the other day, where, hey, look at all of these markets that Bitcoin is starting to tap into, right? The $53 trillion S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Bitcoin spot ETFs, and STRK is still just at 1.3 billion, right? And that's just one of the products that Michael Saylor is rolling out. And then we also have the bond market. Wells Fargo has come out and said the unsung hero of this 2025 bull run is the Bitcoin's ability to tap into the $300 trillion bond market. Now that's very peculiar and very interesting here. When we see all of these things, Bitcoin is essentially taking over the finance world one step at a time. And it's happening quicker than everybody really anticipated. And I mean, these billionaires are loading up right now, because they're seeing, they know what happens towards the end. And they think that only one thing can happen from here. And then look at this. They're seeing personal savings accounts, right? Seeing at $18 trillion for US bank accounts, money market funds, 7.4 trillion. All of these things are ripe for disruption, and they're coming very, very quickly. And Michael Saylor, well, he's buying up Bitcoin and doing it really quickly. Let's hear how much he thinks that he's going to be able to scoop up here in the near future.
Is there ever too much Bitcoin for you to own? Like if you could own all of it, would you?
I don't think we'll get all of it. I don't think in the range of 3 to 5 or 3 to 7% is too much. BlackRock has got more than
I just
us.
wonder. I was thinking about the mental.
So 3 to 5 to 7% is not too much for strategy. And then we're seeing strategy now get a bunch of copycats, right? The amount of Bitcoin now coming off and getting scooped up by Treasury publicly traded companies is absolutely insane. I mean, they changed the color of this bar literally every time I come to this damn website. And now we're seeing 162 publicly traded companies now holding Bitcoin. And look at all this. Majority of these companies are in the US, but you're starting to see other countries start to pop up and do the same thing. I mean, most notably, we have Metaplanet in Japan, who is essentially now looking at Bitcoin and saying, hey, you know what? We need it to take over this market. And it's billionaires all over the globe that are taking a lot of notice when we come to this. I mean, we've even got Mexico, the third richest man in Mexico, saying something extremely bullish about Bitcoin today as well. Now let's listen to it.
The market cap of gold versus the market cap of Bitcoin, there's a huge difference still. And Bitcoin will catch up.
Yes, exactly. I feel like it's 18 trillion gold.
So the difference between Bitcoin and gold is still huge. And I mean, I pulled that up for you guys just so we can see. It's literally just about a 10x, right? 10x the market cap right here. So if we got a 10x the price in Bitcoin, well, guess what, folks? We're sitting pretty over 1 million. And that would happen very quickly. And it's all because of what we're all seeing, right? I mean, the scarcity of Bitcoin is something that I don't think anybody really truly understands. I mean, we're seeing the amount of Bitcoin getting taken off exchanges at a rapid rate. I mean, when I started showing you guys this, we actually saw Bitcoin get added a little bit to exchanges here, but we're seeing it float around $2.1 million or 2.1 million Bitcoin, excuse me, now on exchanges. And it's not just me that's saying this. It's saying less than 15% left on Bitcoin on exchanges signals a, quote, supply problem. Because we've got the ETFs here. We've got all of these crazy things coming in. And the amount of buying pressure that we're seeing is something that, we've never really seen before in Bitcoin's history. The amount of money coming in is different. I mean, I know everybody says, hey, this cycle is different. That cycle is different, whatever. Everybody's always saying that every single cycle. But the difference in this cycle is that we have now a friendly regulation. We don't have to worry about anybody trying to come at Bitcoin for a regulatory stance, because now we have the biggest and largest asset managers in the world all in on Bitcoin. BlackRock, Larry Fink, all of these guys, they're getting extremely powerful. We've got the Trump sons going to the Bitcoin conferences around the world talking about this stuff. I mean, we got Eric Trump going to Asia here in a couple weeks to talk about Bitcoin. So that is happening. And then we have some of the largest corporations now, and the amount strategy is buying up on a weekly basis is astronomical. And something that I think is always, on the back of Bitcoiners' mind is, hey, global M2 hitting new all-time highs and Bitcoin lining up with the 100-day offset. Are we ready for this Bitcoin parabolic move? And I think this is all lining up with something very unique here, right? Because Bitcoin always does well in Q4. Let's just face it. Towards the end of the year, people are always buying up Bitcoin and kind of stockpiling there. We saw it at the end of last year. Typically the best months moon, like, what is it? Moontober, they say in October. So we'll start to see that start to line up here. And what happens right before October? Well, this is the CME group and the Fed, their chances of cutting interest rates. Look, for those of you guys who have gone to maybe my macro channel, see me follow this almost on a daily basis. And the highest I've seen for an interest rate cut at this point was maybe 20 to 30% before this weekend. Now we're seeing it as an 80% chance. We had somebody in the Fed actually step down here recently, so Trump can now reorder the Fed in order to now cut interest rates and get interest rates at a near zero rate. So we're seeing all of that here right now, and there's now an 80% chance that we cut interest rates in September 17th. So you cut interest rates September 17th. The global M2 money supply, which has been increasing on a constant basis. Let me reiterate this. It's been increasing, and the US, the global monetary policy holder, has been essentially just holding interest rates at a flat level. They haven't been increasing at all. It's been everybody else around the globe. So it's the polar bear meme. Once the US starts to loosen up and, maybe let that beach ball balloon go way above the water, well, the global M2 money supply is going to rapidly increase. And that's going to accelerate everything, accelerate the growth, accelerate the amount of money going into Bitcoin, and accelerating it getting caught up after all of this stuff. Now, I'm going to get into more with MSTR here in a minute, but I think the beauty of Bitcoin is that it's the greatest collateral on the planet. You essentially don't need to sell it at this point because of what we're seeing, right? So maybe some of you guys want to utilize Bitcoin and the true power of Bitcoin to buy something new. You see this price acceleration, you've been holding on to it for quite some time. This is why I've partnered with my friends over at Salt. You can go to saltlending.com/greencandle. They're giving you an exclusive offer for Green Candle listeners. The best part about them is they do not rehypothecate. They've got some of the best rates in the industry, and they're actually going to give Green Candle listeners a little bit special discount on the rates. I'm not supposed to tell you guys this, right? But if you go now, you might be able to get 0.5% off a better rate than you would anywhere else with just Salt, and honestly, with anywhere else. You get these 12-month duration, and then you could also get up to 70% LTV. And the best part is they also got Salt Shield. So if you're worried about a liquidation risk, well, you could get some assurance that that won't happen. So go to saltlending.com/greencandle today. And then make sure you guys are smoking that like Cheech and Chong and hitting that subscribe button, because I'm giving you guys free sats every time you come to the Green Candle live stream, courtesy of my friends over the Bitcoin Well. Go to bitcoinwell.com/greencandle. Sign up today. You'll get 500 points, a chance to win 1 million sats, and you're going to win 377 sats here today. So hopefully you guys got your Lightning wallets ready, because all of this stuff here is going right. It is going and going and going. Now, what we are seeing is very interesting as well, right? The global M2 money supply, the growth, the year-over-year growth rate is rapidly increasing. TF is saying it's interesting. Bitcoiners criticize the central bank printing money, but it seems they hope the central bank prints money. See, look, I don't hope the central banks print money. But as Lynn Alden says, nothing stops this train. At this point, it seems like that is something that is essentially going to, happen. It's inevitable, right? They have the drug of the money printer. So at this point, they already know that their only way out of this is to print money. So as a Bitcoiner, I think we're all saying, hey, rip the Band-Aid off at this point in time. Give it a go, right? We're going to get to more of a hyper-Bitcoinized world the quicker that fiat fails, and fiat's going to fail soon. So I think everybody needs to get that life vest and buy Bitcoin, even though, hey, it'll pump our bags, but it will cause a lot of pain, this money printer. And I think that everybody is going to slowly start to realize, hey, we need to get out of a human run system, which makes a bunch of mistakes. And I think that we're going to start to see that people lose trust here. I like to think most hardcore Bitcoiners don't even realize the massive exponential growth that's coming. I agree with you there, McLovin. We've got All Nighter Hider in the chat. TF's All Nighter Hider saying central banks don't print, commercial banks do the credit creation unless the bank is monetizing the debt, but commercial bank creditors dwarfs that. Exactly. We got somebody in the X chat, hashing to heating, saying, does SALT offer interest on BTC deposits? I do not believe so. They're just a lending platform. Who knows the greatest an AI agent? No, we're not promoting anything outside of just Bitcoin only here, guys. So no doubt, but we are very early. Welcome, Crypto Princess. So I think the nation state FOMO, as McLovin is saying, is just getting started here. You know, this global M2 money supply is something that's very interesting because of just, you know, some of this latest data. Like, we're seeing it start to tick up. And like I said, the US hasn't even started to print. But something else that we're seeing tick up is the MSTR short interest. MSTR is at an all-time high for shorts right now. So everybody is bearish on MicroStrategy, now known as Strategy B, with all of this. Even though we had this, and let me know if you guys hear this, because half the time when I get deeper into these streams, we lose audio. But listen to this clip and tell me why you think you should be bearish on MSTR. I have no idea why.
For individuals, good for institutions, and it's good for the agencies. And then it's just a matter of when, right? I think the fact that they included Coinbase is very bullish, and kudos to those guys for doing that. I think it'd be great when we get included.
So he's saying right there, hey, you know what? We're going to be included in the S&P 500 soon. Coinbase is doing it. All of these other big, let's call it crypto companies are doing it. I mean, look at this, right? We've got Tesla in the S&P 500, Coinbase and the S&P 500 as well. And then we've got some interesting other companies now potentially getting up there and getting some attention. But the reality is this number, it's about to reach a full Satoshi, the amount of Bitcoin on publicly traded companies. So these numbers are going to rapidly start to increase. And these guys are going to start to join the S&P 500 quick. All of which, while we have Bitcoin sitting at 115,000, 114 and a half. And everybody's bearish right now. Bitcoin's crashing to 114,000. Can you believe it, folks? It is insane that we are getting negative talks about Bitcoin when we're sitting at 115,000. I honestly just cannot believe it. But hey, you know what? Not everybody has the diamond hands that a lot of us have here, right? So it's interesting as we're seeing this start to develop, right? McLovin saying, if you hold hard assets, the money printer is your friend. Exactly. You know what? I actually heard a statistic here today that, you know, the growth of the S&P 500 is literally 10x the growth of GDP. Meaning that if you're holding assets, you're the top 10%, top 1%, whatever you are, the top 1 to 10% have been exponentially growing their wealth while that wealth gap has been increasing. This is why I'm here to educate you guys, right? Because I fully believe, and I hope you guys send your friends here to me a green candle, telling them to subscribe, hit the bell notifications, because I'll give them free sats, courtesy of my friends at Bitcoin Well. And I'm trying to teach these guys, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, we're all falling behind. You have to essentially hold Bitcoin at this point in time. If you're not holding Bitcoin, what the hell are you doing? Because we're seeing all of these companies start to come on, buy Bitcoin. we're seeing the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges get scooped up like crazy. And something else we're seeing too is the amount of Bitcoin on, OTC desks also get taken down. So these guys are just rapidly now starting to take away from Bitcoin. And we're seeing the whales, these guys. You would think, hey, you know what? These whales don't need to be buying Bitcoin, right? Why would they need to be buying Bitcoin? They are at a certain point in time just, hey, you know what? If you just sit it and forget it, you'll be fine, right? Because we've seen the exponential growth of Bitcoin. But these guys are loading up for a reason. Why are they loading up? Well, it's because they're seeing what we're all seeing. They're seeing what I'm lining out here for you guys. Bitcoin getting scooped up off exchanges, the demand skyrocketing up, and the global M2 money supply looking ripe to start to really take off. And I think the true power of Bitcoin is you guys getting your Bitcoin off an exchange. And I found another perfect way for you guys to do that. I partnered with my friends over at CryptoSteel. So you guys could go to cryptosteel.com. You can use promo code GreenCandle. You'll get 10% off your entire order. And the thing I love about CryptoSteel is it's plug and play, folks. You order one of these things. I've got it right here. It could stand up to 1 ton. It's really tiny. They have like locked, security locks so you can make sure that this core that you guys buy, well, it could either hold 12, 24. You could get a solo if you want. They even start as low as $25. So there's really no excuse for you guys to get your Bitcoin off exchange. They've got sealers. They've got everything. You don't need a hammer. All you got to do, just line it up like this. Look at this, backup core. It's as simple as that. You could back it up, $30. I'm giving you 10% off, so that's $27. You could back that your generational up for $27. Just all you got to do is go to cryptosteel.com, use promo code GreenCandle today, and do it. Don't store it on paper. You guys are absolutely nuts if you're going to store it on paper. You could even hold the password manager, all of these different kinds of things here. It's modular. They got lowercase, uppercase, all of these different kind of things. So there's so many different things that you could do to keep your password safe with the amount of people getting hacked and stuff all of these days. TF asking, do you guys worry about your CryptoSteel getting stolen or confiscated at airports? Hey, I mean, this thing is tiny enough. You can hide it. I promise that. But I wouldn't really, I would hide it in a secure place. Maybe you can put it with somebody you trust, do all these different things. But as All Nighter Hider is saying, complete the BTC thesis with self-custody. That's what we got to do. The next halving, Prince Kumar, this is a great question. What would that do, right? The thing that we are seeing, right, is the global M2 money supply. People are always saying this, but the reality is that the amount of Bitcoin that is being bought by these publicly traded companies on a daily basis is 10x the daily supply. The demand is just way higher than the current supply. So if this demand continues to keep up, well, that only means one thing, right? There's only going to be so much Bitcoin left. This is why I'm following the potential of this supply shock so closely, because we see Bitcoin keep getting taken off exchanges, and the amount of Bitcoin that keeps getting bought is crazy. And the amount of Bitcoin on OTC desks is reaching a low. They've declined. This was back in February, right? BTC OTC debt balances decline, raising market supply questions. This was when Bitcoin was at 97,000, folks. So we're seeing the OTC desk rapidly go. Yes, price is determined at the margin, but what we are seeing is still the amount of hash rate still go to all-time high. I mean, look at this. Every single day, it seems. August 2nd, Bitcoin hit a new all-time high in hash rate, 1,000 exit hash. The miners know what's coming. So these things are continuing to happen really, really quickly, and they're not slowing down. So if you guys want to share of this hash rate, I've also partnered with my friends over at Simple Mining. You can go to simplemining.io/greencandle. They've got a ton of different options for you guys. If you want to buy, they got the best shop there. They also do hosting if it's not feasible for you guys. There's a ton of different crazy stuff that you guys can do. There's even depreciation that you can get from hosting Bitcoin miners. I actually had a great podcast with Mark Moss where he kind of went into that. So there's some tax benefits that you can get with all of that. So I'd be on the lookout for all of that and the potential ways you can utilize Bitcoin, because we are seeing that this hash rate is now really starting to, peak up here. And there is some interesting things happening and going on, right? Even with Bitcoin being the best performing asset of this decade, people are still extremely bearish on it. And honestly, I have no reason why. I mean, all of these things, right? We had Max Kaiser predicting $1 million Bitcoin when it was $200 in 2013. I mean, all of these things, right? You're seeing these predictions start to come to light here. There are absolutely so many different ways that we're going to see Bitcoin just come on to buying that we haven't even really started to see yet. The buying the treasury companies. And I mean, all of this, right? Strategy. We have Central Bank of Uruguay move into a regulated Bitcoin and crypto state into its domestic industry. South America is now adopting Bitcoin. And it's happening at a rapid pace. Now, I've got a little surprise for you guys. I just recently went to Spain. This is the reason you guys could tell I got a little bit of a mustache here. I need to get the chop going again, but I got a new little haircut. The thing is flipping back a little bit. But I went to Spain and I did Running with the Bulls. So for you guys, I started this new channel. If you guys are interested in taking a little peek into my life, I'm going to put it here. Please go over to my other channel. Check out the Running with the Bulls in this bull market. Everybody could get bull-tarded up here. Go ahead and go over there right after you guys are hitting that subscribe button and that like button for me. And thank you guys all for tuning in. And I will catch you guys all at the next one. Please go check out the Running with the Bulls vlog. It's amazing. I had a ton of fun filming it. And I hope you guys enjoyed it just as much as I did.